There's a lot of talk with ChatGPT and how does it fit into creative workflows. And what I'd like to do is share a little bit about some of the things that I do and how I use ChatGPT and other types of AI engines to come up with new ideas and to look at things and think about things differently. Here's a great example. I'm actually using Claude by Anthropic. I'm not using ChatGPT in this example. I like the way that I was able to interact with it and the way it was listing things. It was a lot cleaner and easier to work with than ChatGPT. So for this purpose, I'm sharing this with you, but you can use whatever you want. But what I did is I asked Claude to provide me 10 creative uses for a brick. And it gave me things like using it as a doorstop, smashing walnuts, microwaving it to warm it up, propping up furniture, freezing it to make a cold brick, garden beds, so using it for landscaping, bookends for kids to use as building blocks for construction projects of their own, paint them to use them for crafts, even as a knife sharpener. Then I asked it to give me 10 more, and it talked about turning it on its side, again, paperweight, standing and changing the orientation of it, fire pit, putting it in the toilet, propping a window open. Number 18 is interesting, putting it in the bird bath, and so bees have a landing pad so they can drink because the water will soak into it. They can drink without drowning. Again, something holding things down, and again, using creative patterns with bricks. My guess is that almost all of these, if not all, you'd probably find if you looked online. But they're also common in that they're the types of ideas you or I would come up with if we were asked just come up with 10 ideas. We don't dig deep into it. We think about the commonalities of what a brick is, and then we use that to generate ideas. And in fact, that was my next question to Claude, was synthesize the 20 examples and list what are the top 5 things that the ideas have in common. And you see, again, utilizing the weight and density, taking advantage of the hardness and texture, using it as construction or landscaping material, using it as a tool, or employing it as a decorative craft item. So those were kind of all the commonalities, and those are the types of things that we would think of probably as well. And then what I asked it to do was come up with any other commonalities it can find. And it came up with things about how bricks can be repurposed, reused, how easy it is to get bricks, using bricks in an environmentally friendly way instead of throwing them into a landfill, gardening uses. There's a whole bunch of different things. Safety, stability, unless you're giving it to the kids and they're building big structures with it. But then what I did is I asked it to give me bullet points of all the ideas, as well as bullet points behind the common themes. And you'll see in here it talks about repurposing the tools, craft items. It gives everything here, and the reason I'm doing this is because I want to know where Claude is coming from. What were those commonalities? And now that I know that, I can force myself to think of areas that it didn't mention. And when I did that with myself, I came up with ideas like, well, what happens if you break the brick? Now you've got shards of sharp bricks. Maybe you can use that for something else. What if you powder the brick? Now you can use that powder for something. You can actually write with the brick on a hard surface. You can use it and it's almost like a chalk. But other questions popped up as well. Well, what if I banged bricks together and made sounds of it? It's almost like a musical instrument, right? But what type of brick am I using to create those sounds? What type of brick is being used here for that matter? Is it clay? Is it concrete? It assumes a rectangular shape in here very clearly, but does a brick have to be a rectangle? Can it be round? Can it have holes in it? And all those answers are yes. So my point is that ChatGPT, Claude, whatever you want to use, they can be a great way to get new ideas flowing because they will come up with the low-hanging fruit. They'll come up with a lot of things that you or I would probably come up with anyway, given a few minutes and just writing down things off the top of our heads. But if we look now at what are the common themes, what are the other issues here, we can go outside those common themes, so we can think of new ways to use these bricks. and new ways to modify the bricks and create totally new things that we probably wouldn't think of if we just left ourselves to just the common brainstorm of 10, 20 uses for a brick. If you'd like some more support in working with these various AI engines to drive your creativity, and whether it's in idea generation or in scenario generation or whatever it is, drop me a line. Would love to work with you. Peace. Have a great one.